Hey, friends, welcome back to Available for More. I'm your host, Ashlee Hope, and I'm your guide as you navigate this journey into a more available, more abundant, more joyful, more beautiful life. So, this podcast is a space for the woman who's done the work. She has real desires on her heart, and she's ready to actually become available to receive more. Because the life you want, sister, it's already reaching for you. It wants you back. And your work is to become available enough to receive it. And today I want to talk about one of the sneaky little ways that availability can get blocked. And that is what your mind has been trained to look for. So let me start with this question. Have you ever bought a new car or been shopping for a car, and then all of a sudden you start seeing this same exact car everywhere? It's the same color, the same model, maybe even the same year. And it feels like overnight, the whole city went out and bought your car. Like, this is the car on your vision board. Except, girl, those cars were always there, right? Those cars were on the road the whole time. Your brain just decided right around the time that car became yours, right around the time you decided to start shopping for it, when you put it on your vision board, your brain decided that it was worth noticing. The same thing happens when a woman gets pregnant, and suddenly she's seeing pregnant bellies on every corner. Or somebody teaches you a word you never heard in your life, and then you hear it 3 times before the week is out. The world didn't just rearrange itself for you, sister, okay? Your attention did. And that's the part I want us to sit with for a minute, because if our minds are always going to notice whatever we've labeled as important, then the real question becomes, what are we teaching our minds to look for every single day? Because your mind is always collecting evidence. It's gathering receipts. And the entire day it's asking one question on a loop. What proves the story we already believe? And I'm going to tell you, that can work beautifully in your favor, or it can work against you. It can work hard against you. Hey, friend, so sorry for interrupting this message, but in case you didn't know, girl, I have a free weekly newsletter, and I have a feeling it's exactly what you've been looking for. It's called Available, and every single Monday, it'll land in your inbox as a little exhale at the start of your week. So it includes notes, reflections, reminders, and perspective shifts on the art of living with open hands. Every issue also includes the practice, and that's my weekly journaling series. And you get 1 prompt a week to help you slow down, check in with yourself, and become more available for the love, the peace, the abundance, and the joy that's already trying to reach you. If you're the woman who's done the work and you still want to experience your life differently and you're becoming available for more, this is for you. It's free, and it might just become the part of your week you look forward to most. The link to sign up is in the show notes. Now let's get back to the show. So maybe you've caught yourself asking the kinds of questions that sound like, why am I always behind? Why does everything have to be so hard for me? Why can't I just get it together? Why does this keep happening to me? Has God forgot about me? And I want you to understand what your brain does with a question like that. It doesn't pause and say, well, actually, I'm not sure that's even true. That's not true, friend. That's not true. No, girl. It rolls up its sleeves and it gets to work finding proof. Finding proof that God forgot about you. Finding proof of why you can't get it together, right? Finding proof of why this keeps happening to you. And it's going to be like, see, you forgot that appointment. See, that email's been sitting there for 3 days. See, you're not eating right like you said you would. See, somebody else is further along than you. And before you know it, you built an entire case against yourself. And baby, that case feels airtight. And it feels airtight because it's the evidence you went looking for inadvertently. You didn't do this consciously. Now stay with me here, because I really want to be clear about what I'm saying and what I'm not saying. So yes, I do believe in telling the truth about your life, and life is going to life, baby. Okay. Like I have said on this podcast many times, none of us are exempt from adversity. Okay. Disappointments will come. People will let us down. Unexpected bills will show up at the worst possible time. Over here on this podcast, we live in reality, okay? But right inside of that same reality, we get to expand what we let ourselves notice and what we let ourselves receive, because there's always more than one thing happening at the very same time. There's always more to the story. So on the same day your plans fell apart, somebody smiled at you. You laughed at something. Your body carried you through another entire day. You had food to eat. You had a roof over your head. A friend texted just to check in. And God protected you from something you never even saw coming, something you'll never know was headed your way. All of that was happening too. But if your mind has been assigned and trained to scan for what's missing, then that's all it's going to bring back to you at the end of the day. So here's one of my favorite reminders, and I want you to really hear this, write it down if you need to. Your brain is loyal to one thing above almost everything else, and that thing is confirmation. Okay. It wants to be right about the story that you've told it. And if you're not aware or cognizant of the information that your brain is collecting and confirming, this can become a habit that doesn't serve you before you have a chance to even realize that it's happening. For instance, you ever met somebody who can find the problem in anything? Doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter how good the news is, they will find a way to locate the one thing that's wrong with it. And I say this with love and with no judgment. That doesn't make them a bad person. Their brain has just gotten really, really, really good at that one assignment because they've been giving it that assignment for years. They've trained their brain to operate that way. But the beautiful part, sister, the part I really need you to grab hold of is that your brain can get just as good at noticing something else entirely, at noticing the progress, opportunity, kindness coming toward you, provision showing up, joy, evidence that you're growing into the version of you who already lives the life you want, evidence that God is moving on your behalf, evidence that God didn't forget about you, evidence that your best days are still ahead of you, evidence that life is meeting you halfway when you didn't even have to ask out loud. And I think about this so much when it comes to faith. Think about how many answered prayers we walked right past because the answer or the prayer didn't arrive in the packaging we were expecting, in the way we were expecting, the timing we were expecting. How many blessings have we rushed by because we were already locked into the next thing we didn't have yet? And it makes me wonder sometimes if God has been saying, daughter, look again, slow down and look again. And I think we've just trained ourselves to scan for what's still missing. So we breeze right past what's already showed up to our door of the answered prayers we're already standing in. And there's a real reason this happens. So please don't go making it mean something's wrong with you. Your brain is wired to pay closer attention to a potential threat than a good moment. Thousands of years ago, that wiring kept people alive. If you ignored the danger in the bushes, that could cost you your life. That was real danger. There were real consequences. But most of us aren't running from anything in the bushes anymore. We're just walking around with brains that hit the panic button over things that aren't actually a threat. It keeps us in this fight or flight state. And yes, that's necessary sometimes, but living like that isn't necessary. It isn't helpful. It doesn't serve us. And it doesn't help us actually experience our lives, which is exactly why I talk so much about availability on this show. And I'm so glad we're moving in this direction because if your attention is constantly eaten up by lack, by scarcity, you're going to miss the abundance that's right in front of you, that's trying to reach you. If your attention is consumed by fear, you're going to miss the possibility, the gift, the blessing, the breakthrough that's sitting right there. If your attention stays on what's absent or what's missing, you're going to overlook what's already present and in your hands. The more is reaching for you, sis. Your attention is just looking elsewhere. So with the discussion we're having today, I invite you to open your hands and pay attention. Redirect your mind. Take your power back. Take your mind back. Take your energy back. Take your focus back. And this isn't spiritual bypass. Yes, you acknowledge what's in front of you, but then avert your attention. Focus your intention and your attention. Focus on the good. Focus on where you're going. Focus on who you're becoming. Focus on what you're calling in. Focus on what you desire and deserve. Focus on what God has already done for you. Focus on the answered prayers you're already living in. And something I want you to try this week, and it's so simple, you might be tempted to skip it, but please don't. And that's another thing we can talk about on an upcoming episode. And that is that sometimes the work gets to be light. The work gets to be easy. The work gets to be playful. The work gets to be joyful. It doesn't always have to be hard lessons and arduous and strenuous, okay? So don't dismiss this practice because it seems simple and it seems easy. So here it goes. Before you reach for your phone in the morning, before you open your email and let the day just take over, I want you to ask yourself one question. What evidence do I want my mind collecting today? Simple, but powerful. And it trains your reticular activating system. We've talked about this before. It trains your RAS to look for confirmation. Maybe today you're looking for evidence that you're supported. Maybe it's evidence that you're making real progress, even though it's slow. Maybe it's evidence that people are kind and they're supportive and they want to help you. Maybe it's evidence that God is providing for you, that He hasn't forgotten about you. Maybe it's evidence that all things are working for your good. Maybe it's evidence that everything will be okay, that all is well. Maybe it's evidence that you're going in the right direction. Maybe it's evidence that your life is opening up in ways you couldn't have planned for if you tried. And then I want you to move through your whole day looking for the evidence. So you're not going to force it. You're not going to just make things up. I just want you to notice, right? The same way you'd notice that car that's on the road after you decided that you wanted the car, after you put it on your vision board or you purchased it. And whatever shows up, shows up. Some of the things and the signs and the synchronicity, some of it will be big. And some of it will be small things that you usually walk right past that you wouldn't even notice. But you're just practicing where you put your eyes, where you put your focus, where you put your attention. So I'm going to leave you with this. Your mind is going to spend today collecting evidence either way. That part is not up for debate. It's going to build a case for something. And the only real question is what assignment you hand it before it gets to going, because it's going to do it either way. So you may as well be intentional about what you're feeding it, where you're directing it, where your focus is, what you're noticing. And, treat this as a practice. When you start practicing today, whatever you're practicing today is going to become a little easier to notice tomorrow. And over time, that's the very thing that's going to shape the entire way you experience your life. So, sister, this week, give your mind something beautiful to look for. I have a feeling you're going to find a whole lot more of it than you expect. Thank you for being here with me today, for giving me this space in your day, in your ears, and in your heart. It means so much to me. If this episode resonated with you, please do me a favor and share it with a woman in your life who needs a reminder that more is available for her too. And if you haven't yet, come join me inside The Practice, my free weekly journaling series where we take this work deeper together every single week. And lastly, please take 10 seconds and leave me a rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Remember, y'all, I'm a one-woman show over here. We are growing this platform organically. I do not get paid to do this. So ratings really matter to me. And it's just one of the simplest, most beautiful ways you can pour right back into me. So thank you in advance for that from the bottom of my heart. My name is Ashlee Hope. And until next time, keep your hands open, keep your heart open, and stay available for more. I'll see you next Tuesday.